Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're actually going to see still the fallback of what came out today for the really big, massive PlayStation and Sony handheld leaks. Now, as you guys may or may not have a chance to go and see, we saw a lot of just attention, details. We even made a video on it discussing the announcement and leak and all that from earlier on today if you guys missed that. But now, we've kind of had a chance to go and let the whole kind of community, gaming community as a whole, and kind of get the overall, I guess, vibe of what people are kind of thinking. And it does kind of seem like, as of right this second, a lot of folks are very, very unhappy with the idea, the concept, the actual use case, and potentially maybe even the price point too as well for this brand new upcoming PlayStation handheld console. Now I want to go talk about this too because I do think this is going to be a very, very big discussion, and I do also think this is going to be a really big push into the handheld gaming and handheld console market, and for at least in my case, there's probably be a lot of bigger issues coming along with this when it comes to price, when it comes to usability, and of course when there's other things such as Game Pass that's also helping out these other big handheld consoles. It's going to be really hard for Sony to have to go and compete with this. So let's go talk about this, talk about the drama, talk about the community reception, and of course, if you guys have heard the news, or if not, I'll give you guys a quick recap. Give me your thoughts and comments down below, because I want to know what you guys go and think. And as well, make sure you guys are subscribed. We probably have the Twitch stream down below if you guys want to swing hi and say hi. We have the Twitter down below. We have all the Amazon links too to pick up your consoles, and let's go dive into the video itself. So in case you guys missed it, we made a video on it before, but basically, there's a brand new PlayStation, basically portable console that's been in the works, where the Sony's brand new, essentially like a PSP, PS Vita, but the one bigger issue is it's not like its own standalone console. And this is like almost a big problem number one, where you do actually, I believe, have to own a PlayStation 5 to be able to go utilize the actual handheld console in the first place. And as well, to kind of give you guys just all the big overview topics, there's also a lot of people out there who are saying that it might be even more dangerous, because you may only be able to go utilize PlayStation games on your PlayStation Portable. That, once again, is a little bit of a concerning thing, because if you guys look at, say, like a Steam Deck, you can basically like run Windows, you can use Game Pass, you can go use Steam, and essentially have your own actual operating system to use it as like a mini gaming computer, although just in a weird kind of handheld form. As well, if we also have all the other various big consoles, because there are a lot of other ones throughout the $400 to $900 price range, yeah, that's also applicable for operating systems, using Steam, using Game Pass, and all these other various platforms. And as of right now, for at least the early leaks for the brand new Q, it seems like it's only available for the PlayStation system. So let's go kind of talk about some of these articles, because there's a lot of big points. Price point. Some people are saying if it's going to be too expensive, they won't want to buy it. It's once again right into the big issues of the PlayStation VR 2, where if you need to already own a PlayStation, then what's really the point? We have all this other stuff put together, so it's very intriguing. So Sony's next gaming handheld may not be the Vita 2 that fans want, myself included. Now, I'm going to say this. I will give it a shot. I may not pick it up if the price point's too expensive or it's just not that good, but at the same time, I'll hear them out. Like, Sony's made some good stuff, but a lot of their secondhand stuff, such as the PlayStation VR 2, although it's great and dope, sometimes is too expensive, sometimes too niche, and sometimes may not be my vibe. But as well, we also have other things such as like the in-set headsets, or the various types of PlayStation hardware, or the Pro Controller, where I like the PlayStation ecosystem. I like the PlayStation 5 in general, but some folks may not want it, or may not want to splurge on it in the first place. So basically, for this one, new report details Sony's odd plans for the possible Q Lite remote play gaming handheld. So a decade after the early demise of the PlayStation Vita, which I'm still sad about, and that's why I would love to have their own brand new handheld console, handheld gaming is more vibrant than ever, leading many people to wonder whether Sony will one day try to get back in the portable gaming market. Based on a new report by Insider Gaming, and the answer is both yes and no. And that's kind of what we're kind of recapping for tomorrow, or from yesterday. Sony is just seemingly working on a new handheld device, but it will possibly only be for remote gaming with the PlayStation 5. It certainly doesn't sound like the Vita 2 some fans have been dreaming of. They basically reported on the fact that the new device is codenamed the Q Lite, and two other big critiques is it won't actually work offline. So you do actually, we've kind of talked about this in the prior video, you have to always also be connected online, which if you guys are trying to play multiplayer games or have specific games, or if you're even doing things like streaming, that almost kind of landlocks you into your home. Now, I myself, I've almost pretty much like 95% used my Switch only at home, and same thing too with other, like all my buds who have had things where, like, say, their Steam Deck. They'll sometimes go and have the games working for sure, maybe take it on trips or planes or whatever, but a very large majority of the time, I'd probably say, guesstimating based on my own personal experience, it's like a 90% they're mostly going to have it at home. And that's also why it may not be the biggest deal, but some folks do actually use this for traveling. Maybe they're doing it for trips, plane rides, train rides, car rides, or maybe you're a younger kid out there in the first place, and well, you just want to take it out to dinner, whatever it might be. I mean, people game all the time, all over the place. And that's a one big issue, because the always online is not what people want. Like sometimes you just want to have a thing where you could go play an RPG. Like imagine playing The Witcher. It's a single player game. You want to have this like local save files on your actual hardware itself. You don't want to have to worry about anything else. You just want to go play the game and enjoy the game. That's it. That's all it is. So having this always online stuff, never a fun experience, never a fun vibe. And I do kind of agree with that at the end of the day. We also touched on this a little bit on the prior video, but a lot of folks are also upset at the 1080 resolution. I just want to go and show some of Gau's comments over here, where he basically goes and says, huge miss, if accurate, in regards like the brand new controller, the OLED screen, and everything else with this too. And a lot of the comments are very, very intriguing as people are kind of discussing on what it is and what they kind of say. Because he's also someone who's been very on top of the handheld markets, saying this is essentially just a PS5U. So it's not his own brand new system like a PSP or PS Vita. He's kind of complaining, saying, hey, this is like a non-native stream only in addition to the PlayStation 5, and they're hoping for a true successor. I'm in the same boat. I would love to go and actually have a handheld thing out here. You're not going to find this. And if it's priced, and he even says, if it's priced over $150, it's going to be dead on arrival. He'd say, I pay $150 for a remote handheld for my PS5, though he doesn't really know how much use he'd get. I'm in the same boat. I'm a PC guy. I have a laptop myself, and I don't mind the idea of handheld gaming, handheld stuff like that. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it's vibey. But one of the bigger issues is if it's only hard locked to the PlayStations we've been talking about, that leads into a lot more issues. Number one is that the PlayStation ecosystem's cool. I know a lot of folks who like the PlayStation ecosystem. But if I already have a PlayStation 5, why am I not just utilizing my PS5? With better specs, better hardware, my SSD is already installed, and I can usually play in a comfy spot where I'd be hanging out either way on my gaming setup or on a comfy couch, regardless, on the TV. But part two of that is also, well, guess what? You can't do things like I mentioned, like Game Pass. And that's a big thing for like a Steam Deck or all these other big handheld consoles, is because you can utilize everything. Like if you're doing handheld stuff, you want to have Steam. Like there's so bajillions of different indie games that play horribly, or not horribly, awesomely when it comes to that stuff that would probably play horribly if it's only on the PlayStation side. Or at the same time, just all these indie games or big games or even some AAA games may not actually work as efficiently. Now, I'm sure the big heavy hitters, such as God of War or Spider-Man, would be a phenomenal playthrough. I'm sure they'll be great, like a Days Gone or Horizon. But one of the bigger issues is, once again, if you can't have everything like the other comparative options have, then what's the point? Like, really, what's the actual point over here, too, as well? And sure, like, there's other things, like, for $300 cloud-only gaming consoles, as you guys can see with this one, I think it seems cool. And I like the idea of having companies like Logitech or Razer, or even, like, once again, Valve and Steam Decks out there where you can literally go play and use the Game Pass. And if you want to go and stream, Game Pass seems like the better, clear winner. And that's why a lot of folks seem like they're upset with this, because, like I said, there's, like, G Cloud. You have all these handheld games. It really seems like handheld gaming is going to be the next big major meta, especially in how good the Switch has been doing, especially how good the Steam Deck's been doing, and at the same time, $300 doesn't really seem that bad for something that might be as good as it might be. If you guys want to look at, say, like the actual Steam Deck, this is $500, which is, well, quite a bit of money, don't get me wrong. But we keep on seeing more and more and more other various companies chiming out with this, and that once again leads a lot of folks being kind of, well, concerned because they don't really know what they want to go and have next. As well, a lot of folks are saying if it's only stuck on PlayStation hardware, people are going to obviously want other stuff. They have things like these adaptive triggers for haptic feedbacks. They have all these other various PlayStation systems, but it's not 4K. It's not, the best console ever. You can't do Game Pass. You can't do Steam, like I keep on mentioning. And I do think a lot of folks also don't like the idea of the always online vibe. Because even if you want to play with your friends, what if it's weird on Wi-Fi? It's kind of harder to go and set up and bring it over to your friend's place in the first place. It may not actually have like a proper Bluetooth. And people are disappointing. That even says, so it's disappointing, if not entirely surprising, that Sony may be attempting to thread the needle by offering the worst of both worlds, a potentially pricey accessory that can't play games natively. That's basically what the Logitech G is at for the $350 too as well. And although they're saying it still gets cool stuff with the Game Pass, we're looking at them having good options, that might be like a potential win for PlayStation, where if they can make it cheap and they make it already tied into the PlayStation 5, into the PlayStation ecosystem like they keep on trying to copy Apple for, it might work out. But once again, it's just so hard to compete with something like, say, the Switch, which already has a lot of cool indie games and is kind of still an optimized console, sort of. I mean, in theory, sort of, or in comparison like the Steam Deck. Like, I really think the Steam Deck's the bigger, like, first mover, and I think that's what companies want to beat because they can understand and see how big the Steam can get in the long term. But a lot of folks are just not happy, like I said. Like, they hope it could be arriving before 2024. I'd give it a shot. If the price point's good, I'd consider it. I wouldn't mind it. I'd be maybe okay with it. But at the same time, if it's not, then I almost don't want to bother. And a lot of folks out there on the internet, if we go look and say, like, even like on this, people are saying like a streaming handheld, lost all interest here. It's just a phone with buttons too. Remote play works fine for free. And people are just not happy with the vibe with this so far, let alone everyone else critiquing it, all the other various options, and going from there. So I want to hear your thoughts because it's kind of the hot topic of the day. And I want to know if you guys still want to buy it. Does it depend on the price point? Does it depend on everything else? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We do have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below in case you guys would like to go and follow. And of course, we also have all the Amazon links too. And I appreciate you guys always so much for watching here in the first place.